everyone, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. I had a word that just popped into my spirit and it encouraged me so much that I had to make this video. The word that came into my spirit is, even if you are flawed, you are accepted by God. Maybe not by men, maybe not by society, but by God. And the other part of that message is be careful, because the answer to your prayer may be that very thing that is so flawed that you wouldn't choose it and you're rejecting it. You are rejecting the answer to your prayer. So let me give you some background. Um, and this is a story that I'm going to use to really give you the word that God put in my heart. So the Lord instructed me to start a ministry that is called I Am Leah Ministries. You may have heard of it. But the funny thing that happens is wherever I go and whenever the name of the ministry is announced, invariably after, right, someone would come up to me and they would say, "Oh, why would you name your ministry after Leah? You know, you're so beautiful." And sometimes I would laugh. And now, I am more confident, and that's a different story about how God is building my confidence. So probably I would say, yeah, I know I'm beautiful. That's not the point. The point of naming that ministry, I Am Leah Ministries, what God told me to name it, is because God wanted me to represent the brand of Leah to the world. Many of us don't understand how she functions in that story. We misunderstand her. And because we misunderstand her, we might be misunderstanding ourselves, right? And so the thing with Leah is the Bible says that she had a visible flaw, right? Whether or not it's something that we would think is a flaw, the Bible says that she had delicate eyes or something, and many Bible scholars have translated that to mean many different things. And we're not going to spend time talking about it today, what it means, because the bottom line is, in her context, to the people that mattered, to her family, to her friends, she was flawed. She was ugly. She was not worthy. She was pitied and pitiable, right? And so we see her story where now there's a man in the picture, right? Jacob. Now Jacob met Rachel first, and he fell in love because the Bible said that Rachel was beautiful, and Leah is the opposite of beautiful, right? And so Jacob fell in love with what he felt like he wanted. He fell in love with this beautiful woman. Can you imagine? He imagined their happy life together and their beautiful children. And then he ends up in the situation where he's married to this woman with this visible flaw. And so right after the marriages, right? So he ended up marrying the beautiful one, Rachel, and the flawed one, Leah. But God demonstrated his choice. If you hear noise outside my office, forgive me. God demonstrated his choice immediately after the weddings. And a lot of time we miss that because immediately after the weddings, God shut Rachel's womb and opened Leah's womb. He shut the womb of that which was acceptable to everyone, including Jacob. And he opened the womb of the flawed one. A lot of us miss that. And we also need to pay attention to the fact that Leah gave birth to some interesting characters, right? So Jacob had a destiny on his life. He had the destiny that was given through his forefather Abraham, a destiny of becoming a great nation and a nation that would give birth to the Messiah. And you would think that the beautiful one would be the one to help him fulfill that destiny, but it wasn't. Leah was the one that gave birth to Judah. Leah was the one that gave birth to Levi. Judah representing the messianic lineage. He is the one, that line is the line through which the Messiah would come. And Levi representing the priesthood, right? The Levitical priesthood line, Leah's children. Literally, she was his destiny helper. Leah, the one who had the visible flaw, the one who he wouldn't have chosen, the one who everyone pitied, she was the one that was going to be the door to Jacob's destiny, and he would never have chosen her. What's my point? Sometimes you have a flaw, right? You are not the most beautiful or the smartest or whatever. And you think that that flaw disqualifies you. No, God has selected you to be the answer. You are the one through whom his purposes will come in the earth with your flaw. He chose you with the flaw. And what looks the most like acceptable, right? May not be the answer. The other side of that is sometimes you're praying. There's a word or a destiny over your life, and God has answered your prayer, but it doesn't look like it. You're not attracted to your destiny. Your destiny is ugly to you, flawed. You wouldn't choose it. But that's the person, that's the situation, that's the thing that God is going to use to bring you into that promised place. Sometimes the person we should marry is not the person we're attracted to. Because sometimes it's our flesh that's attracted. Our flesh is only going to take us as far as the world could take us, but our destiny, flesh can't discern. Sometimes the answer to our prayer will not be attractive. And we're going to say, God, why are you bringing this thing into my life that I don't want? I don't like it. I don't like him. I don't like her. They ugly. God, don't you see the flaw? And God's like, yeah, I have chosen that flawed person, that flawed thing to help you walk into your destiny. What's your takeaway? You're flawed. I know I'm flawed. I see it. But God has chosen you to walk into a great destiny with your flaw. The other takeaway is the answer to your prayer may be ugly, may be delicate-eyed. You may be looking at the answer right now and rejecting it. But what you have rejected, God is going to use to fulfill his purposes in your life in the earth. See you next time.